Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome back to the Jewish Stripper, Raw and Real with Ala Kaplan. I'm Ala Kaplan. And today, my guest, very special guest, is Wendy Melrose of the podcast. Well, as a company, Resilience Press, but her podcast is Healed, Whole, and Called, right? Perfect. So we're going to talk about Wendy's podcast and the company and tell us what you do.
Hey, everybody. So, as Resilience Press, it is a trauma, tragedy to victory story company who we steward the stories of those who've been through crazy things and they're ready to get it out in the world. So, regardless of what that story is, if you feel called to be guide God to our creator to get that book out in the world, that's what we do. Whether you've already got it done, you want to know what to do next, or you're like, I have this story, I don't know how to extract it from the inside of me. And then we can work on that, stewarding it with honor and how to write things. So often so many people are like, hey, I don't know how to write my story without the risk of hurting the people who hurt me, right? Because, they're healed, right? There's always a way to write something in honor. And so it's a way to, help you get to the world, to help others who've been through the same thing or going through it. And then Healed, Whole, Called is just a video, audio, live streaming podcast, sharing with the world to help change the lives of those going through what you've already been through.
So I'm in the middle. I started a book in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
That the life of a Jewish stripper, and that's where the podcast name came from. And I'm stopped and couldn't figure out how to go back. And I did, I don't want to say throw my family under the bus, but I needed to get the things out of my system that, when I was a child and teenager and young adult and all that, the things that were influenced me, and how do I, my mom read it. There's a lot of stuff about my mom, and, she forgives me because, well, number one, the book's not published.
Sure.
So it's not finished. So it's not like it's out there in the world.
Uh-huh.
But I did post some chapters on medium.com.
Mm-hmm.
And my aunt, my mother's sister read it, and she was very upset because and stopped talking to my mother because my mom supports me in the book, in what I've written. And there was a rift that it caused a rift with my aunt and my mom.
Mm-hmm.
But my aunt, said really some crazy, nasty things to her because, and I'll just make this very brief, my grandmother's sister was married to my grandfather first. She killed herself, as apparently, so it was hinted, because my grandmother and my grandfather were having an affair, and my mother was the result of that affair. And my grandfather had 2 daughters from his first marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and her the sister, who about exactly 10 years all older than my mom, and basically made it as though it was my mother's fault being born, that her, that she was blaming her for the things that happened between my grandfather and my grandmother. And so my mom carried that trauma, and it influenced her. And so, I guess I did throw my aunt under the bus.
Well, one of the things I do learn is even when you write a book in honor and you maybe even change names or situations, or even if you don't, you just say it. But you say you don't mention aunt's name, you just say my aunt. You cannot control the reaction of those who read between the lines either. So even if you're super careful, people can still be like, why did you write that about me? Did you see your name in the book?
Yeah. So I just got to go back and take the name out.
Yeah. I mean, it's an easy thing to do. It's like, especially with control, find aunt, whatever. Just say aunt or family relative. You could even just keep it super generic. This family relative. And
I think what happened was that she, her son also read it, and he didn't know a lot of these things, and so it showed her in not a positive light.
I mean, it is what it is. You did what you did, and there's consequences for such actions.
Yeah. Well, my aunt was not a big fan of my father, and she a lot of times said nasty things about my father, and it hinted like that because he's a piece of crap, that I came from him, so therefore I'm a piece of crap. And she just like, I always got this feeling from her of being hated for being, part of my father. And my father was a, piece of crap, but what does that have to do with me?
Yeah. It doesn't have anything to do with you because, each child, regardless of how they end up coming into the world, is still a beautiful child. And it is not just because a parent is what they are, does not define who the child will be or is.
Yeah, I mean, all these, if this rift, it caused, they had a big fight, and a lot of, my mom hasn't told me exactly what was said. We were staying with her actually in Israel, where she lives. And I asked her right to her face, are you angry with me about the book? And she said, no, actually, I got bored of it. And I was like, and so she just, not telling me. And I was like, if you don't want me in your life or be present around you, why did you let me stay at your house? Why are you even, I could have gone to a hotel. So it was like, it's been like 3 years now, almost 3 years. In May, it'll be 3 years since all of this happened. And she stopped calling my mom, talking to her, all of that. Because of book that I wrote, that my mom actually had nothing to do. I guess because my mom told me these things. I think she was angry because my mother told me this history and how mean she was to her. And then, she's just a mean person. She was a mean person when she was younger. Now she's in her 80s, and she's still, I don't like to say the word bitch, but, she was a bitch when she was young, and now she's just a bitch and she's old.
Well, what are you going to do? Some people just never change.
Right. You can't fix anybody.
No.
And I can't take back what I wrote, but it's an unpublished book. And so anyway, so I just want to continue working on the book. I need to finish the book. I need to edit it and get it out there, because my story, I think, will help people, because I'm a survivor of sexual abuse, marital, physical, mental abuse. So there's a lot of, there's a lot. And then all this stuff happened that, I'm probably going to end up putting in a book. If you don't want me to tell about something, don't do the asinine actions.
Well,
I'm
that's
like Taylor Swift. If I'll write it. I'll write it out.
Yeah, I have an author who, her second book's about to be coming out, and she's like, well, if you don't want to be in a book, don't do stupid things. Stupid things get stupid prizes.
Yeah. Right. If you don't want to, and I said I started the book, actually, I was putting stuff anonymously, and then I went back and I changed it and I actually put the names. And initially in my introduction, I said, that if people recognize themselves, that's on you. If you recognize something if you see, I'm going to be putting names anonymously, but if you recognize yourself, then you know what? I mean, it's not my fault if you're an a-hole.
Maybe do some personal development work.
So I mean, I'm the book helped me heal. Writing helped me heal. And all that trauma from the first memories when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and my grandmother's sister's husband used to babysit me, and he molested me. And so, I mean, I don't like to sugarcoat stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If I sugarcoat it, then how's it going to help me heal?
Right.
So this is what you do. Do you help with editing and promoting?
So we don't do any of the promoting side of it. We found that it's best for the author to do the building of their audience. I can talk about it on my audience, and I usually always mention everybody a couple times, but my audience follows me. They don't follow the other authors, right? So I do put it on my website, but the main thing is just to get out there and talk about it all the time. One of my authors, she's getting into churches. She has a 365 Bible study, right? A devotional. And she's getting everywhere. I mean, everywhere locally, right? And I said, maybe I need to have you on my podcast to share with the other authors, like, what are you doing? She goes, I don't really know if it's a marketing plan. I just, in my quiet time with God, I say, where do you want me to put my book next? He says, here. I go there, and then it's there. And so I'm not sure if it's a marketing plan. I'm like, well, better than doing nothing. So yeah, it's a marketing plan. But then I have other people, like I've got a guy, he's got a large following on Facebook. He also knows lots of people politically. So he's probably going to get on some political radio stations. And so the main thing is that there's nothing that I can do that's going to make it do better than you can do for yourself. So, and making sure that you're talking about it all the time, carry the books with you everywhere you go. So promoting, even traditional publishers, they do not do it. They want their authors to have a big, engaged following before they will take on a book.
Yeah.
So that's why they stay with the heavy hitters, the big politicians, the big movie stars, the big people who who are out there building their audience. Like, even if you did like a streamer, right? You got Mr. Beast, who's everywhere you go. He's got candy bars and food and his Beast games. If he wrote a book, it'd be instant. He could do it himself. I wouldn't, he could write the book himself, have Beast, Mr. Beast Publishing, a publishing house, and everything he puts out there would sell in an instant because he's got such a good following. And as long as you're writing to the correct audience, like if he wrote a book on, he could write a book on how, YouTubing, and that would sell to his YouTubing audience. And he could sell a book on, how to have fun games, Beast games, whatever. Or it's just like, hey, my life about, having, I think he has Crohn's, right? So he could write his life about how he went from being hidden to whatever. And then, some people might write it. Or he could write a big flop. If you write something that nobody wants to read, then it doesn't matter how famous you are. No one's going to read it.
Right. I got a lot of response
Good.
My chapters on Medium. So I mean, yeah, some of the stuff is public and anybody can read it. It's I'm public on Facebook. I mean, if you Google the Jewish stripper, you're gonna see my name, my podcast, my Medium page, all of that stuff. You're gonna see it there. And so I think I have like 600 some followers
Mm-hmm.
Medium. My YouTube channel right now has a little over 2.3 thousand followers, something like that, subscribers. So, it was just, I want things to grow organically. I don't want to be chasing something or someone. I'm not saying, that I'm so great that everybody should come to me. I mean, I'm just started the podcast in August of 24, and it's just in the last few months that I started having guests, and I realized that, hey, there are groups on Facebook for podcasters. Need a guest, want to be a guest, all those. There's so many pages, and at first I didn't. You learn as you go. A lot of the time, you just learn as you go. And so everything that I've learned, I taught myself.
Yeah.
I haven't had anybody hold my hand with the podcast. Initially, I just would, get on live on Facebook or to YouTube and do like 30 minutes by myself of whatever topic that I wanted to talk about. And people ask me, somebody was like, well, you need to be in a niche. And I was like, well, what is my niche? Because I started initially talking about narcissists. My ex-husband was the epitome of a narcissist. And I started talking about, mental health. And I had a lady from Nigeria contact me, and we did an episode, men's mental health. And so that was interesting. But if I didn't have a guest, I would still keep going. I actually initially started with a friend, and my friend dropped out. I said, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna keep going. Just because you dropped out, that's because it wasn't like she didn't find it too professional. It wasn't polished enough. She didn't want to be. I think she didn't want to be part of. She wanted to be part of something that was not, in a good light for her, I guess. And she just she was saying, like, I don't really like to just sit there and talk. I said, yeah, maybe you'd be a good interviewer. And she's into true crime. And I said, if you're gonna go start your own thing, great, good for you, and I hope it succeeds. And I wasn't mad. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep doing this. I'm one of those people. I'm probably one of the most determined people you're ever gonna meet in your life.
That's good.
Yeah. So you just promote people who already have a large following?
No, so I don't do any of the promoting at all. But so like for people that I help with their books, right? So I just happen to have one author with a large following. But most of them they just feel called to write the book. They don't really care if it influences anybody as long as it helps one person. And so that's kind of really where I come from. It's like, what is your goal behind the book? And so like I'm actually finishing up a ghostwriting book. She's doing it because her therapist told her she needed to do it for the final healing of what she went through. And so it's good. It's a good book. It's going to be pretty exciting. I can't believe it. I had a friend of mine beta read it. She's like, this is insane. I'm like, I know. in everybody, there's just some people out there who have these insane stories of complete utter manipulation of what was done for them and done to them. But I told the person, I go, this is a tell-all. What's your goal? Because if you're just here to just vomit the book,
yeah,
without any sort of, I go, if you're just here to just vomit it, she goes, no, actually, I'm in a really good place because I believe in victory side. If you're living in victory, we're going to be just fine because we're going to take the reader to the victory. We're not going to take them through all the pain with no victory anywhere in the end.
and the healing.
Right. And so, that particular, so that's kind of my requirement is that, and most people they just really feel called to help somebody because everybody on the planet, there's 9 billion of us. Many of us are living very similar stories.
Yeah.
But yet we feel completely alone in that story.
Yeah.
So it's like the only way we should feel called to share what we've been through and that there is hope on the other side. You're not alone. We don't have to live in perpetual sadness or fear and anxiety. There is healing, there's boldness, there's tenacity, but some people, it's like, almost they stand up, they get knocked down again, right? And you just have some people that just have a perpetual life of getting knocked down, but they keep getting up.
Right.
So
that resilience.
Right. Right. And so like, you're one of those stories, right? Your mom was one of those stories, your family, your generations of those stories.
And I was the generation, I'm the trauma curse breaker.
Nice.
I was the person in the family. It wasn't like I was, digging for drama. It wasn't like I was on purpose digging for drama. The drama was there, and I just happened to be the storyteller, but in the end, I ended up being the cycle breaker.
That's what I'm talking
about. I ended up being the one that said, okay, enough of this bullshit, enough of this, tiptoeing around on eggshells of the truth. And where is the truth and what is the truth? And it wasn't for me, it wasn't like vomiting the family, I wasn't like, okay, I'm going to air out all the family dirty laundry.
Yeah.
But it was like, you guys dug this shit deep under, and it's a ripple effect that applied to everyone in the family. Because it turned out when I was like 18 years old and I didn't know any of this, and somebody said something about, that my grandmother's sister. And so come to find out, that me and my cousin, my mother's sister's son, we're cousins on the side of our grandmothers and through our grandfather. So I was like, at first, I was like 18 some years old, and I was like, is this some kind of incestuous crap? Because it sounds incestuous. And they were like, well, no, and then it's very common in Jewish families to marry in the same family more than once. And I was like, okay, now you guys are really blowing my mind.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I was speechless.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, what the F is really going on? And so I'm like, okay, the sister killed herself, and then my mother was born, and I was just like, what the F? And then like later, down the road, it was explained to me what really happened. And what really happened was even more mind-blowing. And the thing was, is like, my mom used talk about my grandfather and my grandmother like they were saints.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what kind of saints are they if they were, having an affair under the nose of his wife, who's her sister? So I'm like, okay, this is definitely generational trauma.
Uh-huh.
And somebody, you guys are carrying this curse of this woman who killed herself.
Mm-hmm.
Like you dug it, you took a shovel and literally like dug it under. And this needs to be, it needs to be somehow told the story.
Mm-hmm.
And it started to, and it's a ripple effect on everyone in the family.
Yeah.
So what it's like, don't you understand what you do affects everyone?
Right.
And
Now,
so,
having broken with you, has it truly broken? No one's repeated it since?
no, I mean, they don't speak anymore. So there's no, they stopped, and they were like best friends.
Mm.
They would go on vacations together, and my mom would, and we came several times to Israel and stayed with her.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened is, one time it was just me and my aunt,
Mm-hmm.
and so I stayed with her for a couple weeks, just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And she just always treated me like a second class citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had no brains. She treated me like I was stupid. I had no brains. That I was, like I said, because I was part of my father on my father's side, and I have two siblings on my father's side. I have two half siblings on my father's side, and so I wanted to get to know them. I wanted to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
And my aunt has, had this opinion. Well, why do you want to meet them? They don't care about you. They don't need you. Why do you want to? You don't need them, and
Right.
they don't need you, and they don't want you. And I was like, I don't remember asking for your opinion on this.
Right.
I didn't ask for your opinion. I said, this is what I'm doing, and whether you like it or not. And then, so what happened the last time we were there in May of 23, just a few months before October 7th happened, we were there in May of 23.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a relationship with the sister from my father's second marriage,
Mm-hmm.
but my brother was born out of wedlock, the relationship that was not a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But he was interested in getting together and meeting. And so when we were there, I went to meet him. And what my aunt really was PO'd about was that my mom went with me. My mom was interested to meet him, and they were open to it. And so I think she felt slighted, that she felt like, and she kept saying, what is the point of this trip? And I was like, well, first of all, we haven't seen you in like 5 or 6 years, and I wanted to see you. But she was PO'd about the book. So she was like only socializing with us during meals. And then she would go and put her headphones on and sit in her lounge chair. And then she was telling us like what time we could get up, what time we had to be home if we went out for the day to, do touristy things or just to go hang out somewhere. And she was like, be home by 10. Don't wake me up before 6 in the morning. And I was like at one time I woke up to take pictures of the sunrise at 5 a.m. And she was like, you woke me up. Why are you out here taking pictures?
Oh.
It's like, I am 50 some years old. I am not a child that you can tell how to behave. And if you don't want me here, then I will leave to go to a hotel. And we did last 3 days, because there was words exchanged with her and my mom.
Hmm.
And so my mom didn't tell me exactly what was said, but I can imagine.
Gee.
So whatever. So then when I, started writing in the book again,
Hmm.
when I started writing the book again, started writing about all this stuff.
Right.
And so because I was like, I can't keep this inside anymore. And
Right.
so now, and then October 7th happened, and I couldn't write about anything except that.
Hmm.
I was just, devastated, like a lot of people.
Hmm.
And I felt like my life is so inconsequential next to what happened to those people.
Right.
And so I got this block because I was like, how is my life any interesting or important compared to this event and compared to the trauma that these people are now going through? And so that, but this is more about you than me. So how did you started the podcast and
Hmm.
you go live every time? Is it daily, weekly?
Yeah. So I pre-recorded everything last year in 2025, and so I pre-recorded and launched 70 podcasts from August 1st to December 31st.
Whoa.
Overwhelming, to say the least. And
Yeah.
I would launch like 5 a day because I had that many backed up. And so I'm like, I gotta get these done. And then I'm like, okay, I need to start again. And I did like, I don't know how many, 20 or so that way in 2026. And I told my business mentor, I'm like, this is too much. I can't pre-record, do the intro, the outro. It's way too much. Like, I'm just going to stop. But what I actually do my podcast to find people who are looking to write books, who are wanting to write books about their testimony. So it's how I build my lead funnel, right? It doesn't mean I'm not pitching anybody on the phone. We're just getting to know each other because it's a great way to have a conversation. They get to know my personality. I get to know their personality. Yes, I want to work with them. No, I don't want to work with them. Same thing with me. Or, maybe it's just not the right time, but you're just starting to establish that friendship, right? So she's like, you can't stop doing it, but you can do it a different way. So I pivoted away from pre-recording it to just StreamYard, and I go live. So that's when I went on to the Be a Guest and the podcast. There's 2 Facebook pages. All I did in the beginning of February is said, hey, I'm looking for guests that are not authors yet. And
there you go.
350 people, over 400 people responded. And so I actually started.
I bet.
Oh, yeah. So I hired a VA to help me filter it because I have them go through a form, and I'm very faith-based. I don't care if someone's not a Christian. My thing is, hey, if I mention God, are you going to get offended in my podcast, right? So,
right.
And so people just think, oh, but I'm not a Christian. Look, I don't know the Bible verses. We are not here to see who knows the most verses.
There's no competition. And I'm Jewish, and I tell people, I've had people, I had a woman who was a Messianic Jew, a former stripper also,
nice.
born into a Jewish family, and now a Messianic Jew.
Nice.
And I just had recently, her name was Darcy Birch of the podcast, The School of Hard Knocks with Darcy. And she's very Christian. Mm-hmm. And so I have no problem. As long as you're not trying to convert me, as long because I tell people very openly, I am unapologetically Jewish.
Yeah.
After October 7th happened, I'm like, I have nothing to hide. I'm a Jewish woman. And I also say I'm unapologetically Zionist.
Okay.
And, I lost some subscribers along the way on YouTube because I did some episodes by myself about, October 7th and
Mhm.
Israel and things like that. And so, I'm like, if I lose you, we're not meant to be.
Right.
If you don't get it, if it's not something you agree with, then you and I are just not for each other.
Right. So that's kind of how it all works. And so I've been going live. I think I started a couple weeks ago, and so now I go live almost every 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Just once a day is the max I'll do, because I've got other work to do. I've got a business to run, right?
Right.
So I've got 27 podcasts currently scheduled between now and end of May. So almost 5 days a week, one a day for almost the next however many weeks it is. So and the goal is to do that every day all the way through the end of the year, except for the last couple of weeks of the year, because who wants to work in December? Nobody. So
right. Besides that, who's watching?
To work.
Right.
So so that's kind of that. And so it's been a really good experience. And, people are just like, oh, do you do any promoting? I don't. It's whoever watches it, because here's the thing. We are here to serve whoever our creator sends our way. Right. So, however that happens. So if one person watches it and their lives change, we've done our job. The point
I'm
is,
going to send you my book. Can I send you my book?
Let's do that. And I've only got a couple more minutes, and I've got to jump on an actual live podcast.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Because I got to go back. I got to go back to my day job, and I doubt that I'm going to really edit anything out of this. We're just gonna go for it the way it is.
Absolutely, it's gonna be great. And
thank you so much for your time. I'm going to email you my book.
All right, sounds great.
It's not, it's in very infant stage.
Well, that's all right.
There's a lot of names that have to be removed and stuff.
We can just
when you go back, it's like reading your journal, and you read your journal, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I wrote that.
Well, we could just change the Ansh to the biatch from Israel.
yeah. I mean, just take out the name.
Joking, exactly. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So for everybody, for my audience, the podcast is Healed Called. Right? Healed Whole Called.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time. I can't wait to put this episode out. And I do weekly, but I might start releasing them more. But we'll definitely stay in touch. I enjoyed so much. Sorry if I took up more time.
Girl, honey,
about my story.
Who cares? I love it.
No, and thank you for just coming on.
You're
really appreciate it. All right, so, awesome. And I hope to see you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks again.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.